It's October 5th, 2021. I wake up this morning and this commercial is on. I saw it once the other day. It really brings up a very scary topic. I'll put it on first. Also today, October 5th, 2021, Channel 2 News mentioned something about a group that call themselves Colombians that are walking from the tip of Argentina to avoid something with the sound Haiti, and something that sounds like a lawman involved. They're going up through Panama, from Colombia to Panama, through something called a Dorian Gap I had never heard of, trying to make their way into the United States. That would be North America. They're coming like in large droves, droves. There's a dirt bike articulation with some uptick in local crime and what they do deep in the jungles of, I don't know what identity to give them. I just know that some of the local population that have used the sounds Colombian were not nearly as dark as what is on this program calling themselves Colombian. Also to note is this gentleman who is now on a commercial, says he's some kind of healthcare equity expert of whatever, and it's about pushing vaccines and pushing drug plans, and he's an equity something or other. So now this ties into a 100-year plan problem about the environment being the PSI, the pressures per square inch exerted on the extrinsic value of your body, is being manipulated and tortured. These shitbags know about it. They come in all IDs and all colors, and they're pushing for the PSI pressure changes to break your bones, your muscle structure, your cellular structure, and the way that you're able to move. And the fact that, like, I went from, let's say, what looked like a 125-pound frame to all of a sudden carrying 155 pounds. And while there was no metric that where I got thicker in density, I was holding more weight. And then all of a sudden I jumped from 155 to 175. And now that's my new normal, which I'm not accepting, and it's not okay. But in that 155 to 175, all of a sudden the metric, my density, the thickness of my front from anterior to anterior to dorsal side, that all of a sudden became wider and thicker. And then it started blowing out in width. It's disturbing. And now I'm somewhere up around 190. I don't eat. I'm not a foodie. I don't have money to go out. I stay home. I drink some espresso, some milk. That's it. And I eat some popcorn. There is no reason calorically why I am blowing up, and I am unable, and I exercise. What minimal exercise I'm able to do, I do, because I've got PSI problems with aeration and oxygen control. These are, again, it's physique being my body machina, but it's also the physique of the extrinsic PSI pressure system between tidal volume and the intercostals and the intercostal of weather pattern. Now look at this money-making, like, moron. They're everywhere in New York City, who are now, this goes into offshore funding. Gail King mentioned something today about Pandora Papers. I have no idea what that's in reference to. I'm in receivership of whatever words and concepts the television is throwing at me in a real-time sequence. Last night, Linda put something on called 911, which has an LAPD overture with some federal and federale whatever. I mean, it's like a jambalaying like television. Don't give out like the pros secrets. Yeah, right. Okay. So now that one says something about autonomy or an autonomous government. They also made reference to an anarchist's haven. I'm like, yeah, what else you got, humans? No shit, Sherlock, on that one. It's been a real fucking disgusting, like, punishment with you all.
After 50 years, we've learned that possible is just the beginning.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tori Nieseling, Chief Equity Officer and First...
So he became a doctor and a chief equity officer. How? I can't even get enough money or a job or an education in the same system that's broken, might I add. Why, if we're in an equal system, why is he able to obtain such great wealth and education and power? And why am I unable to even at this point walk around? Just curious. Remember, I am a tetra and I am a super transformer. That means when the fucking planet, the sphere, blows out half of its contents, I still exist and I'm still in charge of what comes next. This is part of a problem that exists right now, currently, while I'm here being punished by humanity. What comes next, what you all did here, is not going to save you. And we have a certain end.
First Deputy Commissioner for the New York City Health Department.
New York City Health Department and mental hygiene. Who the fuck put him in charge? I'm curious, because I wasn't asked.
Important for people who are at higher risk of serious complications from the flu, including adults 65 and older.
The flu is almost like a computer virus, but for your anatomy. They created this flu so this way they could change the dynamics and metrics in the machine and how people are measured in some like 1960s world affair in some sperm cup, and it's really fucking disgusting. This is the tail end of it in Century 21, year 20. I'm sorry, Century 20, year 21.
The flu shot does not protect you against COVID-19, and the COVID-19 vaccine doesn't protect you against the flu. So, if you haven't had your COVID-19 vaccine, you can get it at the same time as your...
There's no way for me to verify that this man has a doctor, that somebody actually educated him, and that somebody gave him... I didn't follow his life path. As far as I'm concerned, he's some kind of paid for by some criminal organization at Enterprise in order to put a suit on and in order to lie willfully to the public about what he's up to, in order to save more disgusting people elsewhere.
As your flu shot. COVID-19 has taught us anything, is that we all need to be protected. For more information or to find a flu shot location, visit nyc.gov/flu or call 311.
311 does absolutely nothing in the real world. It has no purpose. You call there, it's supposed to be like a directory, but it depends on who you are and what number you're calling from, whether you get the right information or not. It's like living in the same city, but under two totally different programs. And it's like this secret sub-disgusting that just keeps getting worse. By the way, they also had on here something in, I think they called it Hong Kong. Those are the sounds they make on the television, about a neon, and then they said something about Tetra exchange. I've never heard the word Tetra in unison with Tetra Exchange being the neon program. All I know is that neon light, when it hits the human eye, it's a neural transmitter disruptor, and it makes the human disengage from the local environment. It messes with the PSI, the intrinsic and extrinsic value of the human, and it causes great sickness in small quantity at a lower neon level. In fact, this background light is bothering me at the moment. It's tolerable in short wave, but the way that the humans have been using it, it disrupts not only your eye, but your thought pattern, and also the interaction with the extrinsic value of the machine. You have to remember, the air around you has a finger, almost like a fingerprint or a signature. At one point, I said it's almost like you take finger paint, and you do it this way, and then you do it this way. There's a part of your eyesight that picks that up in infrared that hooks you into a healthy system as you walk around. The viral code is coming from that fingerprint area and jumping what I call noid, Noid, into your anatomy values of where your double helix is picking up, almost like a CD-ROM and a light reader. But what happens is the photon level of the spectrum of light that hits your eye, it dictates your health. And the fact that the sunlight has been so, even with clouds today, it is so dangerously at a volume, like it's voluminous, that it's interfering with the health. And neon was one argument with one set of population on a different side of the planet. But here in New York, it's become a completely different. I mean, they're walking up from other countries and just settling into people's cities and like making themselves at home. And I'm getting crushed out of even being able to buy myself clothing at this point. There's no gratuity at all for anything. There's no even avenue of opportunity at this point being offered. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It is Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. And I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.